Hello, people. My name is Ray Reed. I'm a tax preparer from St. Louis, Missouri. And I'm doing this video because I have seen a lot of the videos that have been posted in regards to stimulus payments, in regards to PPP loans, in regards to the allocation of the stimulus payments, in regards to whose stimulus payments are being offset, whose stimulus payments are not being offset. You know, people, there's a lot of people out here who read, bills, or they get information, and sometimes people have selective hearing. And unfortunately, this is a case with a lot of the YouTubers that is on here. First and foremost, let's address this issue of the stimulus payments. Okay? The stimulus payments go to people who are single people who make $75,000 a year or less, or $99,000 or less. It begins to phase out after 75,000. So you're losing $5 on 100. If you're married, you get $2,400, and you get $500 per child under the age of 17. That does not include dependents over the age of 17. Okay? In any sort, form, or fashion, no matter how you put it. Adult dependents, etc. Okay? Secondly, I know people try to be helpful and everything, but again, there's a lot of misinformation out here because most of the people who are giving this information have no tax professional history, and they cannot therefore give accurate information. Okay? As far as an offset, if you owe back child support, that is the only reason your stimulus check will be offset. It will not be offset for any other federal or state debts other than back child support, meaning you can be on child support, and if your child support is current, then your stimulus check will not be offset. Secondly, there are a lot of innuendos going on about the different proposals in the House and in the Senate for a second stimulus. Now, would it be reasonable to say that there is going to be a second stimulus? Of course. But nobody can say that it's set in stone, and nobody can give out any certainties. Because again, people hear information and they have selective hearing. They take what they want to hear, and this is what is promulgated throughout the community. And because of that, people have a false sense of security as to what is going on. And I've seen another video where a guy kind of touched on this. People make financial decisions based upon money that they assume that there is coming, but it is not set in stone. And then they realize that they're not going to receive this money, and then now the end of the world is happening as far as they're concerned. And I've seen this over and over again as a tax professional. People come in, they get their taxes done, and they try to apply for a loan, and then they hear, well, they don't hear if the bank approves, even though we stress this over and over again. They only hear, you said my money's going to be here on this day. And 9 times out of 10, that's not what a tax professional told you, because they can't guarantee you a bank is going to lend you money. So, again, people, until you have money in your hand, or until you know money is coming, do not assume or listen to any of the commentary from these videos, because in actuality, these are just drafts of proposals. They're not even proposals yet, they're drafts. A draft then turns into a proposal, then which turns into a bill, once approved by both members of the Senate and the House. And then that bill is not signed into law until the president signs it, which he can veto the bill. And then that could take long. You just don't know. Even if this does come into a bill or into an act, you don't know when that's going to happen. We've seen Congress negotiate on things for months, no matter what the economic status is. So I would highly encourage people not to base economic decisions on a second stimulus bill. Now, in theory, we all think that there is going to be some sort of a bill. But as to what that is going to entail and how much is that bill's going to be or how long it's going to last, nobody can say. Everybody can only speculate. Speculation leads to misinformation. Okay, I'm going to say this again. Speculation leads to misinformation. The reason is that people have selective hearing. Reiterating for the fourth time. People have selective hearing. They only hear what they want to hear. They don't hear the intricate details surrounding what all that entails. So, based upon what they want to hear, they make decisions that are rash and then they regret it. So, I'm telling you here today, nobody can tell you that you're definitely going to get this or you're definitely going to get that other than what has already been signed into law and proposed. And nobody can tell you exactly when you're going to get that because the IRS works on an intricate system. And from years of dealing with them, I can tell you that they don't like the public to know what they're doing before they do it. They like to catch you off guard to avoid identity theft. Another thing, nobody from the IRS will ever call you asking for personal information. They will not do that. If the IRS is going to contact you by mail or they will contact you in person, that is the only way they will contact you themselves. They will never call you on the phone asking for personal information or bank account information. And if anyone calls you on the phone asking for those things, it is a scam. If anybody calls you telling you they're from another agency and they can help you get a stimulus bill or help you get that, 9 times out of 10, that is a scam. Do not give these people your personal information. This is how they steal people's identities, and then they get cars and they have houses and they have businesses in your name and they don't pay the taxes. And guess who the IRS is coming after? Even if the IRS don't come after you, this is why you can't get credit anywhere. So be very careful about the way you distribute information, who you distribute that information to. Be very careful about the misinformation that's going on about these stimulus payments, because in actuality, that's just a proposal. It's not even a draft yet. It's such an, there is going to be some form of a stimulus. I can tell you that, but that may not include direct payments to Americans. It may include, we just don't know. This is a political thing. Everybody's trying to get their say. So there probably will be some form of a direct payment, but what that'll be, how much that'll be, and when that will come into fruition, nobody knows and nobody can say that, and it's pure speculation. So do not base any financial decisions on that. Last and not least, I think that this bill, if they do pass it, should not disinclude people who are on child support. Now, when saying this, I don't have any kids, so that's not my angle in saying this. But my angle in saying this is from dealing with a lot of clients who are on child support, and I do a lot of their taxes at reduced rates so that to encourage them to file their taxes. I didn't understand that philosophy. Other people don't catch on to that, but okay. And from dealing with these clients, I can tell you that these people were in an economic crisis before the economic crisis caused by the coronavirus or COVID-19. These people are taxed, or their wages are garnished from 25 to 45%, and I've seen more, depending on if they owe back child support. These people's gross wages are garnished. After their gross wages are garnished, then they tax you as if all those wages are still there after they've already taken their 25 or 35 or 40% out of your check. So these people don't even see half of their paycheck. They can't even afford to live anywhere. So they're in more need of money than most of us are. I can tell you that. And I can also tell you that The Division of Family Services is getting extra money from the CARES Act to give out enhanced food stamps and welfare and Medicaid, which is taking care of these children who are on child support during this pandemic. Should the Division of Family Services also be able to go and double dip and take from people who are in the same crisis? Now, a lot of y'all out there saying, "Oh, they getting away with it." They're not getting away with anything. At the end of this crisis, they still gonna owe child support just like they did before. The only difference is they're human too, and all have sinned and fell short of the glory of God. So who can throw the first stone? Meaning, who don't owe a debt? You owe somebody somewhere, unless you rich and you got money like that. But if you're the average working American, you owe somebody somewhere. So until you've paid all your debts, how can you then say this person should be deprived because they owe a debt? Or more properly speaking, how can you pull the straw out of somebody else's eye and you got a barrel of hay in yours? First remove the hay from around your eye, then you can better see how to pull it from the other person. So, with all that being said, people, everybody's in an economic calamity right now, because of this disease and everything. Then, the other thing, they want to open the economy back up. Okay, of course. Fine. If they really wanted to open the economy back up, and if they really wanted to give incentive for people to go back to work, they should take this same money and give it to people who choose to go back to work. Instead of giving it to the people who are at home, give it to the people who choose to go back to work. That would incentivize people to go back to work, and that would open your economy back up. Then Republicans get their way, Democrats get their way. I mean, it goes, if you give it to those people are going to open jobs back up because people are going to have money to come in there and spend. And you're going to have adequate staff to serve everybody. There's going to be less people on unemployment because the incentive, and I believe that the people who are on the front lines, not just, of course, our police officers and our firefighters and our medical staff, but I also believe that people that are working in these restaurants and in our grocery stores and in our Family Dollar stores, these workers are on the front line too, and they should have a stimulus as an incentive for working. This is what I believe the next stimulus bill should be if you're really trying to open up the economy. That's on one hand. But then on the other hand, I think that the stimulus should be given to people who choose to stay at home as well, because until they have adequate testing to show your antibodies are not going to pass on the disease, you should not be out in the public. This is where the money should be spent. Because if you can test everybody, then you can open the economy back up a lot safer. I don't know. Leave me your comments below and tell me what you think. But that seems like the more logical solution to me. Give the money to the healthcare for specifically for testing of the coronavirus. Specifically for that and no other reason. Or supplies needed for those and or manpower needed for that. Give the money to the states so that they can enact the unemployment and get payments out to people who are in dire need now. But give the rest of the money to the people who go back to work. They go back to work, the same money that you want to give people to sit at home, $2,000 for 6 months, whatever. Give it to those people that's out on the front lines working. That's going to incentivize the people to go back to work. Anyway, leave me in the comments below. Let me know what you think. Y'all have a nice night.